Hey everybody, welcome back. You'll notice I'm kind of putting out a bunch of content just all at one time, and I tend to do that because when I come into Houston, I have better bandwidth, literally better internet to be able to do this. And I sometimes, record things late at night when I'm feeling better, and so then I kind of dump the posts at one particular time. But this is one I had been wanting to do for a while. And it's on the idea of having 2 clicks on our dial. And this is something that for me, I find it's interesting because I just posted one just a second ago called When the Cure Becomes the Cause. And as I listened to it, I'm like, wow, am I talking fast? And that happens sometimes. When I am in this state, I tend to have 2 clicks on my dial. I tend to be like Speedy Gonzalez and the Tasmanian Devil rolled into one. Or I tend to be kind of flatlined, And again, as you know, I really look at all that's going on with us and focus on the nervous system. And the gas and the brakes are not working in concert with each other. And sometimes the gas is down full force, and sometimes the brakes are over functioning. And so there's times that and then there's, the in-between states, right, where you feel like you're going to come out of your skin while you're simultaneously fatigued, which is always fun. That's always a fun one, right, to feel like you want to run into traffic while you simultaneously are staring at the ceiling because you're too fatigued to get off the bed. So I call this kind of 2 clicks on the dial. And I've noticed that there are several videos or audios on my site that I'm talking really fast. And that isn't really my nature. My nature is to be I'm not a slow talker, but I'm not a super fast talker. But in this process, I do tend to get to places where I feel like I want to do everything really quickly. And so, even on days when I'm feeling well and I'm out doing errands or things like that, I'll notice, oh God, there's a line at the checkout. I don't want to sit in that line. Or, I just wish this person would hurry up. Or I don't want to make small talk. And so one of my dear friends in this, Drew Lynn Salata, wrote a book called, I think it's called 7 Seconds Slower. And it's a great book because it actually speaks about how when you're in a heightened state of anxiety and you're suffering nervously, which I believe we are, and that's what drives so much of our problems, mentally, emotionally, physically, cognitively. We tend to either be really, really kind of in an agitated state where we're going to talk faster, we're going to need to move faster, we don't have any patience, we're irritable, we feel like we're going to come out of our skin if we have to sit and make small talk and wait. And then, like I said, the second click on my dial is blah, like just I got nothing in the tank. I'm in complete depletion mode, as Claire Weeks would say. And it's very rare that I'm in the middle. It's very rare that I feel, grounded enough to be speaking kind of calm and aware of my tempo and aware of my tone and, just mindful of all of these factors that when we're not dealing with this constant barrage of symptoms, we can be more mindful, right? And that's an important thing too, is we can recognize there seem to be 2 clicks on our dial, flatline or Speedy Gonzalez Tasmanian Devil mode. And I think our work has to be to really be incredibly mindful of that and to be and so for example, for me, and I forget to do this, which is why some of my audios sound like the Tasmanian Devil, is because I'm not mindfully approaching what I'm doing in that moment and saying, okay, I feel like I want to come out of my skin today. So I am most likely going to be talking very fast. And I'm going to be aware of that. I'm going to be mindful of that. Or I'm really aware that I'm just fatigued, just depleted. And it may not be the best time for me to take that phone call. It may not be the best time for me to agree to do a podcast. Because I'm gonna feel flat. I'm gonna feel totally worn out before I've even begun. My mind is not going to be sharp. I'm not going to remember things. So there's the mindfulness of being able to, recognize what we should or shouldn't be putting ourselves in, necessarily if we have choice. But I think also the mindfulness can change this. And what I mean by change it is, if I'm aware that I'm in, Speedy Gonzalez mode, then I'm going to, put in stop gaps. I'm going to put in breaks for myself that my body and mind are not going to put in intuitively. Okay, so this goes back to, again, our mindset and our values and our attitude, which is, okay, I could just be really frustrated that I just want to, come flying out of my skin and I'm talking too fast and I just want to, hurry up and what? Well, that's the other thing, we'll get to that in a second. Hurry up and what is kind of an interesting question. But if I can remind myself, all right, you're probably going to talk fast today. So that's going to be intuitive. So I'm going to put in stop gaps. I'm going to make sure that I am paying attention, that I'm, talking at a slower rate, and I'm being very purposeful, right, about that. I'm very intentional about my speech, which I think, again, this is not a bad tool for us to develop in this intentionality, attention and intention. That, as we recognize what these drugs and this process can do to us, we can still say, okay, intuitively and naturally today I feel really revved up, but I can actually, via paying attention and being intentional, slow myself down. But let me go back to what I was saying a second ago. When we're in that hurry up, it's hurry up and what? Like when I'm in that state, it's like, okay, I'm going to hurry up and run this errand to get back to what? Like to get back to my little spot on the bed that has a full indentation from all the years of sitting in that same spot. I'm going to hurry up and what? Get back to my rumination. I'm going to hurry up and get back to my four walls. And that's when we have to also challenge ourselves. Again, this is where that willful tolerance comes in. And it's like, okay, wait. Feels like I'm going to spin off into Netherland if I don't get through this line quickly, or I don't get off this phone call. Or I don't know about you guys, but for example, if I've had to do anything like, I don't know, like when my car got hit and I had to spend hours on the phone with insurance and dealing with things, and I would literally have a feeling of like the eggs were sliding off the platter. Like I could feel my brain literally sizzling out and like I was going to throw the phone and scream. And then I would have to kind of catch myself and be like, okay, that's intuitive. That's what my body's doing right now. That's what my nervous system is doing right now. But I'm not going to have the egg slide off the platter. I'm not going to throw the phone. I'm not going to scream. I'm in a heightened state, right? I'm in a state of hyper arousal. And so Drew's book, even though he's not talking about medication withdrawal, he's talking about how when people are in a state of heightened anxiety, which we are, a heightened, sensitized nervous system, we tend to be flying around. And 7 seconds slower is about just mindfully just shifting it a little bit. Just recognizing, okay, I'm going to build in 3 more clicks on this dial. Intuitively in withdrawal, I have 2 clicks, but I'm going to build in a few more. So again, just something that I'm thinking about, and as we're thinking about how do we get ourselves through this process, recognizing that, what it's probably going to give us is 2 clicks on the dial. It's going to be up to us to build in those other little places and say, no, I'm going to speed it up a little bit right now, or I'm going to engage a little bit more. I'm going to get up and move my body a little bit more, or I'm going to try to intentionally slow down a little bit and just stay grounded and stay in the moment and stay here and not go running off, not go running back home, not go running away from myself. Because, wherever you go, there you are. That's what I have found to be, the screwed up irony in this, right? Is getting home doesn't make me necessarily feel better. I take me with me. The me that couldn't stay in the line then goes home and feels shame and despondency about the fact that I can't even stand in a line in the grocery store. So we have to kind of challenge ourselves, and we can do that slowly. I was talking to a friend or texting with a friend yesterday who's in a really bad place with this right now and really struggling, and was like, I want to start getting back to the gym. Well, one of my thoughts was, okay, well then, the first couple times you go, give yourself 15 minutes, even if you only lift one weight. But don't go and when you feel panicky or overstimulated or hyper aroused or scared or whatever, don't feel that feeling and run. Don't feel that feeling and get out of that gym, because what you're doing then is you're telling your brain, oh, I was right. I am in danger. Oh, I am in trouble. Let me get out of this. And so if you're going to start to build things in for yourself and help yourself slow down, be realistic about your goals. So go saying, today I'm just going to go to the gym and try to do 15 minutes. If you can go a little longer, great. But my point is that when you feel the adrenaline flood, when you feel the, oh my God, get me out of here feeling, or I'm going to, again, the eggs are sliding off the plate. I'm going to go insane. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to, I feel like I can't move. Whatever it is, don't in that moment, even, don't run. Don't get out of there. Even if you can stay 5 more minutes after that, so that you're showing that amygdala, you're speaking the language. And by doing that, we're going to build in more clicks on that dial. It's not going to be freeze, which is, the one click on the dial, which is me staring at walls and totally exhausted, depleted, and frozen in space, or running for the hills and speaking a million miles an hour to get through the moment. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, guys.